So official, always. Well, hello everybody, and welcome to the Climb with Kelsey. I'm Kelsey, and this is my super good friend Alicia. And Alicia is one of these active, holistic, lovely little humans that I just love talking about and talking to because she just has so many good stuff. So let me tell you all about her like really exciting program that I will be taking as soon as it launches. Because so Miss Alicia is a wedding photographer and a yoga instructor, and she's found that her passion for telling these romantic stories through photography is equally as important as sharing these really transformational benefits of yoga. And she's realized that the power of yoga is that it's challenging, but it creates this deep relaxation and mental clarity. And she has this desire to share the practice with others and teach it professionally. So she has, her yoga teacher training and is very qualified doing these things. She's taught over 2,000 classes. So Alicia, thank you so much for being here. I am just so excited to talk to you more about the power of yoga and activity and travel. So thank you so
Thank you.
much.
Thank you. I'm so excited to be here. Such a great moment. Thank you.
Yeah, well, and so first I wanted to talk about your program that you're going to be launching in January. So just in a couple months here, and we'll have a promo code for you in the show notes and a link in the show notes. But tell me a little bit about that, and just me hearing about it, I'm like, every wedding vendor needs this. Everyone,
Yes.
but
Yes. Every
especially
wedding vendor.
yes, but like especially my sweet little elopement photographers who are hiking and active and like doing all these crazy things. So tell me a little bit more about it and what
Yeah.
it looks like.
I love it. Thank you. So, through my yoga journey, it just has brought me a lot of awareness. And while doing weddings, I realized that we all kind of suffer from the same things. All the wedding vendors sit down. If we get a dinner, we sit down at dinner time. And every single person, whether it's the caterer or the videographer or the DJ, everybody's like, oh, we have to get back up again. It's like that. Oh gosh,
It's the
it's going to keep
worst. Like
going.
I'm usually doing okay, right? Up until I sit my sexy fat ass down. And then it's a
Everybody.
problem.
Yes, everybody. Like people want to not eat because they don't want to sit down, which is not good for your body.
I mean, that never not eating, that is never gonna be me. But
Never.
I get it. Yeah. Yeah. The suffering is
Yes.
real.
Yes. Yes. So, a few years ago, I just was like, there's so many things that we could be doing that we just don't do. And most people don't do it because they don't know to do it. And so there's a combination of beautiful yoga stretches, some self care practices, what to do the morning before you go onto your wedding day.
Oh, love that.
Even if you're dead tired, if you could spend 5 minutes doing a couple things at night before you go to bed, it's going to make your next day totally different.
Oh, love that.
And
Yeah.
so I just come up with this whole beautiful practice. There's a couple different options you could do. You could learn just what to do the day of, or if you really want to get into a sustainable practice, you can learn things to do the day before your wedding and then what to do also the day after. And for those that are hiking mountains and climbing and doing all these epic, beautiful things, there's so many extra elements that come into that. Dehydration becomes something that we need to think about.
The silent killer.
Yes,
100%. Yes.
100%. Yes.
Yes.
Um, and those hamstrings, I mean, I have so many beautiful practices for your hamstrings to love you instead of want to scream at you the night you get home.
Thank you, girl. Thank you. Because as a my hammy is hating me person, sometimes
Yep.
I definitely appreciate that.
Yes,
Hammies struggle for
they
me.
do.
My
They do.
hips, my hip flexors. Because
Hip
all my
flexors.
camera weight is on my hips and my
hmm
backpack is on, and then I'm hiking, at a steep grade, and
Right.
it gets it right there.
Right. And it's kind of like these three pain points. You have the shoulders and the neck from like holding, I mean, a lot of photographers have their gear on their shoulders, right? Or backpacks. So
Yeah.
you've got all this here, and then you've got this heavy stuff lopsiding you here, and the camera's way different weights. So now you're like totally awkward and tilted, and
Yeah.
then the hamstrings are just screaming. So it's this combination of keeping the whole body healthy and
And
hydrated and fed and nourished.
and
Um,
balanced.
yes,
Yeah.
yes.
I know this is like off topic what we said, but I'm just going to gossip with you. We've talked about a little bit about like which camera systems are best for the body. Like,
Hmm.
what are your thoughts on that? And what
Yeah.
equipment harness do you use?
Yes. So, first off, the thing that I would tell, especially new photographers, definitely stay away from the one shoulder strap. I spent probably 2 or 3 wedding seasons with two cameras on one shoulder, and it really, I don't know how I didn't realize it, but it is not the way to go. So I veer away from those as much as possible. Um, the two shoulder strap I think is great for short sessions. I don't think there's anything negative about it. However, we've got heavy gear, especially at the end of the night when we're adding on those extra off camera flashes and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Those shoulder straps can become strenuous. So currently I use the spider holster. So the same as you, the one that goes on the hips. I do have a dual set. So I have cameras on both sides and I try to switch them so that the balance is even throughout the day. So if I go halfway through the day, I will try to get a heavy lens off of my right hip and put a heavy lens on my left hip and then go to softer lens on my right to try to keep that equal balance throughout the day.
Yeah, totally. I didn't even think about switching the weight even. I mean, just a huge, at least for me, like, because my journey was similar in that, like, I started with the holster and the camera's just flippity flapping down here. And again,
Yes.
it was years that I had this like chronic, rough back pain. And
Yep.
it's like, do you think how long? I mean, years. It took me years
Yeah.
to switch that. And I think
Yes.
we just kind of accept that as part of the job. And it's like, no, 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 girl, no. Like when
Right.
you're feeling in pain and off balance, and I think this is something that your program does really well, is just being able to like kind of have a check-in and like slow down long
Hmm.
enough to recognize where the problems are. Because
Right.
we're just so like, I don't know. I think photographers just kind of become these martyrs.
Yeah, we're
you
we're
know?
doing and we're serving and we're just not thinking about ourselves until the next morning when we have a headache and we can't get off the couch.
Yes, and then we get up and we do it the next weekend
Right, right.
over and
Or some
over.
people the next day, right?
Yes.
Hmm.
Yes. And I mean, this is what I think we need to be talking about today. It's like why? Why do photographers do this? Like why do
Yes,
our sweet friends and just
totally.
go through this?
Yeah, I think we're all just givers by nature, and we really want to serve our clients. And in our minds, serving our clients means not taking a break.
Yeah.
Serving
Yeah.
our clients means not drinking a lot of water because then we're going to have to go to the bathroom a few times. And that
Yes.
is not serving our clients
No, I mean because
by any means.
well, no, I mean, like the symptoms of dehydration is like not only does your body feel terrible, but you're foggy up here. Like you're not working with like your
Completely.
full mental capacities. And that's
Right.
what I notice when I'm like less creative is when I'm hungry or when I'm thirsty or, when my body is not being taken care of. And it's like, we need to make better systems.
Yeah.
As photographers, like we owe it to ourselves to like do better,
Yes. 100.
girlfriend. Like if
That's
you're
right.
if you're I mean, not to mention the like hanger
Yes.
that is like
Right.
so dangerous for even just like social interactions.
Yeah. And your vendor team and like your friends that you're working with. Totally. Totally.
Yeah,
You
exactly.
know, the other thing that people forget is that when we're hungry or when we're dehydrated or when we need to use the restroom but we're not, our mind is there. So you're not in this present place, which of course, when you're not present, you're not able to be as creative. So you have much of a different creative practice if you can keep your body, mind, and soul all in alignment throughout the day. And you're a better server to your clients when you do that.
I love that. I love that. It's like if you can't do it just for you, then just know that you're better for your
Right.
clients to take care of yourself, right? It's like help me help you, help me
A
help you.
hundred percent. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. I had a situation last year where one of my beautiful second shooters was working with me, and it was very hot in California. We were in a dry part of, California, and it was probably 109 or 111 degrees. It was a
Alicia,
very hot
no.
day. Yes, it was.
Oh,
And I think by hour 5, she realized that she hadn't taken in any really water that day. She had
oh,
been with the groom, she was going from one thing to the next. It was one of those venues where we were traveling from getting ready to venue, you know,
Yes.
ceremony site. And she actually had a heat stroke. I mean,
No.
thank goodness, you know, it was at a point where it was theoretically okay, but she
Yeah.
had to go inside and she was out for the rest of the wedding. I mean, it took her out. It
Oh,
was
poor
intense.
thing. So
And
what
it's
are some
amazing how many of those stories are out there. It happens to
Yes.
people all the time.
Yes. Well, I mean, so besides the lack of water, what are some of the other symptoms of heat stroke, like preemptively, so that people are like, oh, when you haven't had anything to drink, blah, 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 like what should we be looking for?
Right. Right. So, I mean, of course, if you are starting to feel like your lips are dry, that is something to pay attention to. That doesn't mean put on lip gloss. Pay attention to what you've had in the
Yep.
day.
Yep.
I think a good part of what my practice is all about is prepping. So instead of reacting to these things as they're happening, we're prepping for them so that they don't happen. We're preventing the situation altogether.
Preach,
So
girl.
we're
Yes.
prepping the day before, we're making sure that we have the right intake of water and protein and all the things that our body needs. Um, and then the day of, we're prepping ourselves so that this doesn't occur. But again, back to the signs. So of
Yeah.
course, dry lips is one. If it's 4 o'clock and you haven't gone to the bathroom at all today, that's a problem.
That's an issue.
We
Yep.
we should be using the restroom, even if it's hot, and even if you're sweating. There still should be fluids that we need to, you know, go to the bathroom for.
Get out
So
of there. Yeah, for sure. No,
yes,
for
yeah,
sure. Well, I mean, and hiking, so for hiking elopements, at least for me, it's so easy to have water because I've got the backpack with a camelback system with 3 liters of water. I always have 3 liters of
beautiful.
water, and it's like in an 8 hour day, I consume these 3 liters of water.
Yep.
What do you recommend for traditional wedding photographers? Because
Yeah.
there's no like back camelback that you just like literally
That
have
you can
water
just
on your
have.
back.
Yeah.
Yeah, like that's a struggle.
Yeah, you know, I preach having a massive hydro flask, or I'm not a brand person, so whatever water bottle you use, I prefer glass over plastic. I try really hard to encourage people not to buy plastic from the store. So if you're using a
Yes.
water bottle, have something that you can refill. But with that being said, I think it's important to have it with you. I have a big, huge, you know, roller bag that I use for my camera gear, and so I have my water bottle with me. The only time as a wedding photographer that you really aren't right next to your gear, of course, you're next to it when you're getting ready with the bride or the groom.
Mhm.
So drink water in those times. You
Yeah,
shouldn't be shooting the whole 2 hours of getting ready. You
right,
should be also nourishing your body. You know, you're
right.
telling the bride to take breaks. I'm always asking my brides, have you had enough to drink today? Are you
You need
keeping
a
those
snack.
carbs down?
Yeah, like let's eat, girlfriend, because the hangry. Yeah, like,
Right, right. And the
yeah,
brides do the same thing. And we're really good about telling our brides to take care of themselves, right? But then
right.
we keep shooting and we're doing all these things.
Yeah, and again, like we just completely forget all about that stuff, and then we wonder at the end of the year, or even while it's happening, we're feeling this soul sucking drought, right? We're
Yes.
feeling this burnout. And it's
Yep.
like, this is why, everybody, because like we've been at like Mach 5 the whole
All
time
day.
without taking breaks. And then we just keep doing it over and over and over again. So, like,
Right.
what would you recommend for that situation? I mean, I know we're supposed to be
Yeah.
doing better. So, like, that's step number one, right? It's just like drink more, eat better, be more
Right.
holistic, take care of yourself, do some stretching. But
Yeah.
what do you do if you get to that burnout
Yeah.
point?
Yeah. So a couple of things. For one, going into the wedding day, I always start with massive protein, like more protein than I would normally intake. I like a 3 egg omelet with
Yeah.
spinach and mushrooms and cheese and all the goodness, right? I'm a vegetarian, but I still get plenty of protein. So I that's how I kind of start my morning. I also always bring a green juice to work with me. So I get my greens in throughout the day. Um, like I said, I have my water bottle with me a lot of the day. I think people, especially when we first start, we think that we're just supposed to be clicking the camera all day long. And that's really not our jobs. Our jobs is to capture the essence of the day and the special moments. And those take time. they take us paying attention, and they take us being really grounded, right? So it's hard to be grounded when you're just like click, 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 click.
Yes.
So my philosophy is to just kind of slow down a little bit, capture the important moments. And when your guests or your bride are taking a break, that's your time to nourish and hydrate.
You do that.
Um,
Yeah.
One of the things I also do is I always, like, all my friends think I'm crazy. Everyone I shoot with thinks I'm crazy, but I always have a lunchbox, and it
Yes.
is literally packed with protein and like some fruit, some cut up bell peppers or cucumbers or whatever that's like a
Nuts
hydration
are big
and
ones. Yeah.
mhm,
Yeah.
yeah. And there's times where as wedding photographers, we don't eat until the last guest has eaten. And so that means for us,
Mm.
we've gone 7, 8, 9 hours before
Yeah.
real food hits. And so if you can just get in those little bites throughout the day, pack in some protein in there, keep yourself super hydrated, it literally will change your life. It will change your life.
Yeah, you will actually feel like a living, breathing human again.
Yes.
Not this like
Yes.
robot that just kind of like goes throughout the day feeling terrible. Yeah,
Right.
I
Yeah.
love the advice about the lunchbox because
Yeah.
we bring snacks with us as well.
Of
Um,
course.
but like I mean, again, it's so much easier for an elopement photographer hiking because we've got a whole bag and that's what
Right.
it's meant for. So I think if you can like
Right.
as a traditional wedding photographer, I didn't take so we did traditional weddings before elopements and I did
Hmm.
not take care of myself near
Right.
as well being the traditional wedding photographer. And it's like if it all it took was just having a backpack full of snacks, why aren't I wearing the backpack? Like
Totally.
who cares? Like put it on.
Right.
Get your snacks, get
Right.
your water. I mean, you could have at least a solid like 1.5 liter back there.
Yes, exactly. Right.
Oh,
Yeah.
nobody cares. I don't think
I'm all
anybody
about the
cares.
lunchbox.
Yes, work that lunchbox. Yes.
That's right.
So what
That's right.
about for the people who have come up to fall and they are burnt out? Like they are
Yeah.
full on just dead to the world. We've gone
Yes.
too hard. What would you
Yeah.
recommend for them?
Quite a few things, but I would start with some really quiet self-care. So one of the things in my program that I recommend to people is soaking feet and hands in Epsom salt baths.
Oh,
So this could be like a 5-minute quiet practice. You don't have to have a bathtub. I literally sit on my bathroom sink and put my hands and feet in my sink,
I love
but
that.
warm it up with warm water, dump some Epsom salts in there, and just allow yourself to detoxify for a few moments. Not only is it great for, of course, the body, right? But you're also quiet and you're in a dark space. I like to light a candle and have the room kind of dark and
Yeah.
just be in that, like you're creating your own spa in your bathroom
Yeah.
after your
Well,
hard wedding day.
I mean, even like a bathtub, right? Like if you have a
Hmm.
bathtub in your home, that is
Yes.
like the number one. I mean, I'll just lay in there, like you say, I shut down all the lights, I have a couple candles on, put some spa music on. My
Yep.
phone is like not within reach. I
Right.
can't be distracted and I just sit there. It's like
Hmm.
those anti-sensational pods, right?
Yes. The
They're
float pods,
float
right?
pods. Yes. I mean, of course, like it's
Love
different
them.
because you're not floating. You're like, normal gravity is taking hold of you. But it
Right.
just being able to just be quiet for a second, like you
Yeah.
say, is just such an underutilized cure
Yes.
for
Yes.
quite a lot of things. Yeah, I love
Yes. So that's one of the things. Meditation I think is huge.
that. Mm,
And a lot of photographers are kind of go, 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 right? We're almost all borderline, like, are we ADHD or not? I don't know. Is this normal? Am I supposed to be going this fast?
yeah.
Um, so for me, in the beginning, especially, there's so many beautiful meditation practices that are not sitting and in stillness, right? Like walking in meditation,
Yeah.
prepping your food in meditation. So
Oh,
finding those ways to quiet the mind to where you're really just thinking about one thing and you're not in 100 different
oh, I love
spots.
that. Because see, like I spend a lot of time hiking or running or, on the bike, and I
Yeah.
never thought of it as a
Oh
meditation.
yeah.
But it totally is. Like I should be giving myself way more credit
Way more
because like
credit. You get
that's
lots
what
of
it
credit,
is.
girl.
Yes. I mean, because when I'm done with a hike, I feel rejuvenated. I mean, nature is like where, you know, my happy place and where I
Mhm.
can really just like heal.
Yes.
But yeah, meditative. That makes so much
Meditative.
sense. So for those
Yes.
of us who are like the louder for people in the back, what does that kind of like look like a meditative active practice?
Yeah. So, meditation really is about keeping your mind focused on one thing. So, if you're running, focus on your breath, right? Your
Yeah.
inhale and your exhale. Don't think about all the things you have to do when you get back to the office. Don't think about all the editing that's sitting on your desk. Don't think about your camera gear that needs to get charged.
Yeah.
Literally let it all go and just think about one thing. Be focused on that one thing.
Mm.
Um, so running is great, walking is great. Thich Nhat Hanh is one of my favorite monks, and he has a lot of really beautiful YouTube videos on walking meditations. It's quite epic. I mean, maybe we could put it in the show notes. It'd be kind of fun to
Yes,
share
I
that. But
totally will. Yeah.
yeah, there's some just really beautiful ways to walk with mindfulness. It is, if you're going to do the walking one, it is about slowing down a little bit, right? So, like, feel your heel hit the ground, feel your toes hit the ground,
Mm,
and be really present with the moment.
yeah.
Um, but I really have found that, you can turn many things into a meditative practice if you can really go within,
Center
quiet
that.
the mind, and
Yeah.
and think of that one thought.
Yeah. I mean, and for those of us who are new, I think yoga is a great practice of that. I mean, just to start somewhere, you know,
Yeah.
it's such like a healing place, but also like the only intention really is to listen, right? Like
Right.
we've got some movement, of course, but that's
Right.
always things like breathe in and you move with your breath, breathe out. You know, like it's much
Yes.
more like intentional that way. So it's easier for
Yes.
me to really practice that. And I found myself using that like listening method and like the breath method in all times walks, you know, walks of life when
Yeah.
it's like if I'm having a hard time sleeping, for instance, or like
Hmm.
my mind is just like going, I go back to that. I mean, it's one of those
Yes.
like safe places. And I think yoga is just, I mean, very powerful in that way.
So powerful. Yeah, it is
Yeah.
so powerful. And it's such a beautiful way, even for people that have never practiced it before, to really watch. So many of us tell ourselves that we can't be quiet. Like, my mind's going 100 miles an hour all the time, but that's a choice. So
Yeah.
you can choose to learn how to quiet it down and be more grounded.
Literally a practice. It's a practice, right?
Exactly.
Like
Hmm.
we're not going to get it right all the time, but if we just keep like between daily practices and really being mindful of it, like it is a
Hmm.
skill. And with
It
all
is.
skills, we can learn.
That's right. Yep.
Yeah, love
Exactly.
that. Love
Yeah.
that. Well, Miss Alicia, thank you so much for
Yeah.
telling me all about. I mean, it's so funny, you guys, because we had initially got on this call to talk about France because Alicia and I went to France.
We
And
did,
then
and it was life changing.
it was, I mean, like, we're gonna come on the climb and talk about that another day because I was just so
Yes.
excited to dive into her practice. And when she started talking, I was like, this is it. Like, this is what everybody needs to know. So thank
I
you
love
again so much. And be on the lookout. So you guys, check out her Instagram, wellness for wedding vendors. No,
wedding vendor wellness.
Wedding
Hmm.
Vendor Wellness. Wedding Vendor Wellness, it's on Instagram. She'll be sharing a lot of her tips and tricks, and her program will be in there as well. It launches in January, so be on the lookout for that, and we will post a link here in the show notes for it as well. Thank you for coming on the Climb with Kels, Alicia. It
Oh,
was so good to see you, girl. So
thank
good.
you so much. I appreciate you. It's so wonderful to be here.